It's important by way of introduction to know that the subject of friendship and company is very, very important to life and destiny. Very important. For many reasons. And that is taking us to the necessity of friendship. Why we need to know about friendship. Number one, the necessity of knowing your friends. Number one, your friendship or company affects the direction of your life. Your friendship, your company affects the direction of your life. He that walketh with the wise shall be wise. He shall be headed in the wise direction. It affects the direction of your life. That was Proverbs 13:20. Number two, your friendship or company affects your mindset or thought process. It affects your mindset. It affects your thought process. Your reasoning, how you think is affected. Your mindset is affected. If you have a friend who has a microscopic mentality or a micro mentality, no matter how big your mindset was before you met them, very soon your mindset, your mind, the size of your mind will drop. In Numbers 13 and in verse 33, and then you read to Numbers 14 all the way from verse 1 to verse 4, you saw how the mindset of the whole of Israel was affected because of the spies that brought evil report. I've seen people who thought possibility before until they got involved with people that taught them how to think small, think little, think meager, think micro. Your friendship, your company affects your mindset, affects your thought process. Number three, your friendship or company affects your character. Affects your character. Because association brings assimilation. It affects your character. The friend of a thief is either a thief or will soon become a thief or does not mind thievery. I mean, without any doubt. First Corinthians chapter 15 verse 33, he said, be not deceived. Evil communication or evil association corrupt good manners. It corrupts good manners. Bad relationship will corrupt good character. Very important. That is why it is important to be careful who your friends are. A person who was not smoking before began to smoke in secondary school, who was not a drunkard before became a drunkard, who was not chasing women before began to chase because he's linked with a friend who has such character. A woman who was submissive to her husband before became very rebellious because she got into a friendship that imparted rebelliousness into her lifestyle. Many years ago, a woman was having problem with her husband, and she went and told her friend, so-called friend, about the problem she was having. And she said, I want to pack out, I'm tired. And the friend said, do you have transport money? Can I assist you? That was the best counsel she has for her. Why? Because she was a divorcee herself. So she was trying to assist somebody to carry out divorce. Your friendship or company affects your character. That's why it's important to know your friends. Number four, your friendship or your company affects your choices. It affects your choices. That same scripture of 1 Corinthians chapter 15 verse 33 applies here. It affects your choices. The choices you make, the decisions you make are influenced by the people who surround your life. For example, there are people today who failed to marry who they were meant to marry because a friend didn't like the man. Am I communicating? One friend or the other didn't like the man. One friend or the other didn't like the woman. On the other hand, there are those who married who they are not supposed to marry because a so-called friend recommended the person, or a so-called friend encouraged them to do so. So choices are affected. That is why we must be careful who we call friend. Number 5, your friendship or company affects your action steps. The steps you make, the steps you take, the moves you make. Peter was sitting in the boat, in the ship. I believe that was Matthew chapter 14 verse 28 thereabout. When Jesus asked him, Master, are you the one walking on the water? Ask me to come. And Jesus said, come. Peter was able to take that step because he was connected to somebody who encouraged him to take that step. On the contrary, if you remember, Amnon took a bad step because he was counseled by an evil friend called Jonadab in 1 Samuel chapter 13 to rape his sister Tamar. If you read from verse 1 all the way, you will see the story there. So your friends determine the steps you take. Either if you are going to take a positive step or a disastrous step, if you are going to take a profitable step or a destructive step, it will be determined by who you call friend. That's why it is important to know your friends. Number 7, your friendship. Number 6 now. Your friendship or your company affects your outcome in life. How you end in life is affected by who you call friend, who surrounds you. We saw how Samson ended disastrously in Judges chapter 16. You read all the way from verse 20 towards the end. He ended disastrously in catastrophe, in calamity, because there was a woman in his life called Delilah that dealt with his life until he ended in disaster. Your outcome in life is determined by who you call friend. And if your outcome is in life is determined by your friendship, then number 7 follows. And number 7 says, your friendship or your company affects your eternal destiny. It affects it. If a friend can, it affects your eternal destiny. If a friend can make you smoke when you are not meant to smoke, or drink when you are not meant to drink, or do one thing or the other you are not meant to do, then such a friend can usher you to an eternal hellfire. Because the road you follow determines the place you end. Samson ended in calamity, according to what we read in Judges chapter 16 from verse 20. That is why it is important to know your friends.